Hey guys, it's Christian, your Vancouver Realtor, and the topic for today's video is real estate commissions. I get asked this occasionally, so I thought why not share openly with you how much I get paid and what you get, what kind of results and services you get for the commissions you pay. So let's jump into that. And the first thing I'm going to say to you, commission is a good word. You want to pay a commission in business and in life because you get better service, you get results. The best example I can give you is when it comes to getting a mortgage. I've seen clients go into the bank, try and get a mortgage through a financial advisor, and a couple of days before they need an answer, the deadline's coming, they call the bank, the mortgage advisor's gone off on a ski vacation to Whistler, and he's gone for the last 3 days of the week. And that's because he's salaried. He's not commission-based. A commission mortgage broker, he's not going anywhere. He takes your calls at 12 o'clock midnight. And you will get an answer. So in real estate, it's the same thing. Real estate agents are paid a commission. In my case, I would be charging the seller 7% on the first 100,000 and 2.5% on the balance. That's fairly average for what you see in Vancouver. You may also see 7% on the first 100 and 3% on the balance, especially if it's a team. Teams have more overhead, they're paying rent, they're dividing their costs, so they may charge more. As an individual realtor, I'm able to do very well for myself. I didn't have to join a team. I work on my own. It's my own practice. So I can charge my clients a little bit less, but basically get the same results and provide the same outstanding service. And we'll get into that in a moment. So what does that work out to? If you had $1 million condo, let's say, and you are selling that, the 7 and 2.5 works out to $29,500, or 7 and 3 works out to $34,000. Remember, that's both sides. That's the total amount. If let's say you have your buyer's agent, myself for example, the bonus is you're not even paying for it because it's deducted from the seller's proceeds off what the seller gets on their side from the sale. So that's just a quick snapshot of how the breakdown works for a real estate commission and for the most part in BC. On a side note, how does that compare to other parts of Canada or the United States? Just in case you think that's expensive, in other parts of Canada, it's 4 to 5% flat. In the United States, places like California, 5% is the going rate. So it's almost double. I don't know why that is the case here in BC, but we tend to have lower commissions. My guess is that back in the 1980s and 1990s especially, we had much higher home prices relative to the rest of Canada, but obviously places like Toronto have really jumped up and have caught up to us. So that's an FYI for you. Now, let's jump into what do you get? What do you get when you're paying a commission on the seller side? I think there's some intangibles there, some invisibles that a lot of people may not be aware of. I find really successful business people, they just get it. They get it like that, like with a snap of a finger. But if you're kind of new to real estate and you've never sold a property, you probably just don't see the full picture. So let me share it with you. So the first thing is obviously advertising. Those are some of the basics, right? You'd say, as a listing agent, I have my own brokerage fees, I have my desk fees, but also we pay an MLS fee to get your home on the MLS, which is like being a stock listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Once you're there, the entire world can see you. You've got massive exposure, and then you have to be on the MLS, okay? With not being on the MLS, you're leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table. I hear stories of sellers selling privately. That is the worst thing you could do. You'd be shooting yourself in both feet on that one. So the other thing is just other fees, brokerage fees, for example. I also like to do advertising on REALTY.ca, Boost Post. It's the Zillow of Canada. It gets millions of eyeballs a year, so you have to be there. There's other things like Facebook, boosted posts, etc., and other forms of guerrilla marketing. So that's one. Second thing is expertise. This is crucial. This is where, for an agent like me, you're paying for my 10,000 hours of experience, right? I've dealt with so many thousands of buyers and buyers agents. I can tell in one sentence on the phone what kind of personality I'm dealing with. Is this guy going to come low and grind us hard on the price and try to get a deal? Maybe $60,000, $70,000 off? I know in one sentence. I kid you not. But that is because I've been in the business for 10,000 hours. I just know, like, it's all in the back of my mind. It's just natural. It's like when Wayne Gretzky was playing hockey. He just knew where to go. Now, let me give you an example. So I had listed a property. This was a couple of years ago. We received a pretty strong offer right out of the gate. I think it was around the list price, a little under $1.1 million. And I just knew that this property could get another $40,000 to $50,000, right? That's a lot of money for my seller. So, and I want to get them every penny. I mean, for me, when you're selling, it's like a painting. I want to paint the perfect painting, and I want to put the most money in my seller's bank account. So I told my clients, I said, look, what we're going to do is we're going to raise the price. I'm going to call the agent back before we do it online and just let them know you're going to give you first opportunity. I call the agent back. He says, okay, before he talks to his client, they jump up $40,000 to $45,000 in price. Boom, done deal. My clients, with one phone call, made an extra $40,000. That's what I mean by expertise, okay? Only a really, really good realtor who knows what they're doing can get you those results. Okay, some other examples. What are you paying for? Time. You're paying for your agent's time, of course. I personally do all my showings as of now, right now, and I also like to do open houses. I love doing open houses. It's a great way to meet the public. I can't tell you how many times I've sold a property off an open house. My very first and third sales were in my career were off people walking in off the street, and I sold the open house. The listing that way. So it can be done. It is often done. It's been my experience. You're paying. Here's two invisibles, okay, intangibles. You're also paying for your agent's character and the relationship you have with the agent. When I mean character, you want someone who's honest, someone you can trust. I had a client, for example, say to me, Christian, here are the keys. I'm going down to Phoenix, Arizona. I'll be there. Just keep me up to date, please. And that's how we sold his property. We sold a beautiful condo, just under $1.2 million. This is several years ago. That's how much he trusted me. He just gave me the keys and went to the airport. And if you can have a relationship like that, I mean, you can sleep easy at night. It gives you a lot of peace of mind. And when it comes to the relationship, and this really depends on you, I personally have always liked having a family feel. That's why I call myself the family realtor. I like to have a close relationship with my clients. So I've had clients literally put me in charge of being the executor of their will. And that's probably the greatest honor I've ever been given certainly in my career, maybe even my life. Really trusting somebody with your assets after you're gone is just incredible to me. So that is the kind of relationship I like to build up with my clients. You may not need that, but I know that a lot of people like it, and it certainly feels normal for me, and it's what I like to do. So that's an example of what you might be getting with your seller's agent, and I hope you would get some of that anyway. Now, there's a lot more to it, obviously. I can't give you everything in a 10-minute video, but I hope that there have been some snapshots and examples and short stories here that give you an idea. Now, a couple more. I want to talk about on the buyer's side. Look, on the buyer's side, in the market that we're in right now, you're really paying for results, for expertise. You're going to find yourself in multiple offers 9 times out of 10. I was in multiple offers twice in the last 5 days. We got both properties. One case where it was for a house in Burnaby, and we were one of 7 offers. Ours was chosen. And again, why did the sellers choose our offer? Well, one, I do think we were probably the best offer. I did my homework. I kind of had a sense of, I bullseyed where we would have to be to get the home. But I also did things to make life easy for the sellers. In this case, the seller's 94 years old. They want to move back to Asia. There's a lot of furniture in the home. They don't want to deal with it. So I told my clients, look, why don't we take on that responsibility? We'll put one sentence in the contract that says the buyer understands and accepts that they will receive all the furniture and dispose of it themselves. That's it. Listing agent calls me back and says, thank you, Christian, thank you. That was so important to my client. You never know what's important to the seller. You gotta ask those kinds of questions. It seems like common sense. You'd be surprised how many agents don't do that. As a buyer's agent, you want someone who's sharp, who's curious, who's gonna ask those questions and kind of poke and prod and see where is there an opening that we can get an advantage. Same thing, another example. This is from literally 2 days ago. I got a phone call from a lady, actually, sorry, it was a text message, and I connected with her, met. Within 24 hours, we're making an offer on a place that she really, really wants. You gotta move fast sometimes, but you can only really move fast if you have that competence, you know what you're doing. It was kind of easy for me, because I've done it so many times. We found ourselves in multiple offers, took about 5 hours of back and forth, just kept, I basically said, look, this is where we have to be, this is the number, and we got it, It was a tough negotiation. That other group really wanted the property. But again, we knew how to adjust the closing dates, we knew what we needed to do with the price, we knew what I needed to say on the phone to reassure the listing agent so they could reassure their sellers. There's a lot of depth and tact that's also required. When you're dealing with the seller's agent, they want to make sure that you've qualified your clients. Can your clients actually afford the home, right? Do they have the money, the financing ready to go? Do they have pre-approval in place? So steps that an experienced agent will know to take make life easier for you, the buyer. And remember, as the buyer, the bonus is you're not paying for that. Wasn't that wonderful? Okay, so final part of commissions. When it comes to pre-sales, well, sort of it's a 50-50. Half the time it's about the same that a buyer's agent would receive from the selling side. The other half, it may be a 2% or even a 3% flat rate. And the reason for that is pre-sales are generally harder to sell because the product doesn't even exist yet, right? You're walking into a show home, you're seeing an example, there's a tower model, but that's about it. The rest is kind of what you see in your mind. It's a little bit harder product to sell sometimes, especially in a slower market. And so developers, these guys are business people, they want to get the tower sold. They will offer 2 and 3% flat rates to the buyer's agent, okay? Now, half of that, the buyer's agent may receive in about 6 months. I would get that 6 months later, or your guy would. And the other half when the tower is complete, which might be 6 years later. So it really depends on the project. Some projects take a long time to get built. So you're waiting a long time for that money. So if you're thinking about getting into real estate, you got to understand you have to have the ability, really good impulse control. You have to be able to budget for yourself because it may be 6 years before you get paid. So that's just an example of how commissions work and a little bit of what you get for it. If you like this video, you found it of value, give us a subscribe or like button. Hit that like button and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.